The other side has a massive war chest. The other side has a propaganda network with little regard for the truth. On the other hand, pandemics have a way of cutting through a lot of noise and spin to remind us of what is real and what is important. This crisis has reminded us that government matters. It's reminded us that good government matters.
Former President Obama's endorsement of Joe Biden that was released on video yesterday. Joining us now, best-selling author and senior advisor to Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett. Valerie's latest book, Finding My Voice, When the Perfect Plan Crumbles, The Adventure Begins, is out now. And wow, it's more timely than ever, Valerie. Let's start with your endorsement this morning. Take it away.
Well, good morning, Mika, Joe, everyone on set. I, of course, support Vice President Biden. His proven track record, his intellect, his commitment to science and evidence, his willingness to galvanize not just our party, but our country as we come out of this recovery. And I know we will. It's going to be more important than ever that the person at the helm has a track record to make sure our entire country recovers, not just a few.
Yeah, everyone's getting behind Joe Biden at this point. I hear more are coming out this morning. Willie Geist.
Yes, Ali Vitale, our great reporter who covered Elizabeth Warren's campaign throughout, is reporting just moments ago that Senator Warren will endorse Joe Biden in a video this morning. So we'll look for that. Valerie, it's been quite a week of endorsements. We can add yours and Senator Warren's to the week that included one from Senator Bernie Sanders and, of course, from President Barack Obama, your former boss. A lot of people have wondered about the timing of President Obama's endorsement, why he didn't hop in on behalf of his vice president sooner. Can you speak to, now that he has endorsed, was there ever a moment where he considered stepping into this race sooner? For example, people forget that it did not look good for Joe Biden before he turned the corner in South Carolina, after New Hampshire, say, or somewhere along the way. Did President Obama consider endorsing his former vice president?
No, Willie, and I'd say a couple of things. First, he really believes in the will of the people, and it was important to go through this primary process, let Vice President Biden expose himself to the country so everyone could get to know him the way we do. But also, and really importantly, he thought it would be important to have the ability to galvanize and heal and pull our party together. And if he'd put his thumb on the scale earlier, I don't think he would have been in the position to do what he's done right now. And let's face it, the entire party is galvanizing behind the vice president early. And that gives us great running room between here and November to make sure that Joe Biden brings it home and wins back the White House.
Valerie, Susan Del Percio has a question for you. Susan?
Valerie, when we look at when we last spoke, you were talking about increasing voter enrollment, getting people registered to vote, participation. Now we see that there's a big drive for registering and voting by mail. How concerned are you that the president is looking to privatize the post office, limit the amount of service that is possible for the post office with all of this effort on mail-in voting?
Very concerned, in a word. And I think, as you know, earlier this week, Michelle Obama announced that through When We All Vote, an organization that she formed, nonpartisan organization, I might add, a call on Congress to ensure that we have the ability to have absentee ballots. We shouldn't have to choose between our health and exercising our most fundamental right to vote. And so I think we should be making it as easy as possible for people to vote. And unfortunately, we've seen a history now in our country where states have passed laws and practices have been put in place to suppress the vote. We should be doing just the opposite. Technology is our friend. The ability to do absentee balloting is something that we could fund and have in place if we get ready right now.
Well, and that's what's so important, Valerie, right now. I actually said last week that maybe 30, 40, 50 million people voted by mail in the 2016 campaign. But what if it was over 100 million? What if we encouraged Republicans and Democrats and independents to all vote early? And then I heard about When We All Vote. Tell us about Michelle Obama's plan and what is the hope as we move forward? Is it an education drive? What exactly is that program planning to do, and how are they going to get people to vote?
Well, so When We All Vote is really all about changing our culture around voting. In the last presidential election, 100 million people, 43% of eligible voters didn't vote. That should be a concern to all of us. This should not be a partisan issue. And our approach is, if we change that culture and we target particularly young people who have the most to lose, the most at stake, that over time we're going to be able to see an increase in that. We saw a big tick up in the midterm elections, and that's encouraging. And another important part of this initiative, Joe, is that it isn't about one election or one candidate. It matters who's on your city council. It matters who's in the state legislature, who our prosecutors are. And so we have to have an education campaign, and we have to have influencers reach people where they are and convince them that government matters. And I think this pandemic is an example of how important a functioning, strong government is, led by people who are not putting themselves first, but putting us first.
Valerie Jarrett, thank you. Her book's amazing, by the way, Finding My Voice, When the Perfect Plan Crumbles, The Adventure Begins. I know because I've read it. Valerie, thank you so much.
Great talking to you again, Valerie.
Thank you both.
And
thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.